Yo guys, it's your boy Dylan, and today we're going to be predicting Week 8 of the 2024-25 NFL season for this year. And with this week, I believe there's all 32 teams will play for Week 8, as there's no bye week for Week 8. But let's jump right into it, starting off with the Vikings and Rams for tonight. The Vikings, like I said last week, I think it was time for the Vikings to take a loss, which they did take a loss, and they are now down 5-1. It's okay. Don't decline. Now, there has been instances where they have missed the playoffs after starting 5-0. So, not that I'm saying that they will, but we'll just see what the future tells us. As to the Rams, they are coming off of a win after beating the Las Vegas Raiders. Although I am saying in this game, the Minnesota Vikings will have a rebound game, and they will win Week 8. Moving on to the Packers and Jaguars. The Packers, they won in a close game as they beat the Texans last week in Week 7. As for the Jaguars, they did get the win in London. So, congrats Jaguars on another win, but I don't think it's happening in Week 8. I think the Packers, they will get their 6th win of the year, improving, I believe, the record to a 6-2 record or whatever. But the Packers will get a win in Week 8. Moving on to the Cardinals and Dolphins. Now, I believe in this game, Tua Tagovailoa will come back for the Dolphins. As for the Cardinals, they did walk away from Monday night with a win. So, hey, at least the Cardinals they improved off of a 2-4 record. Now they're 3-4. As the Dolphins, they got to get to work and hopefully Tua Tagovailoa is healthy, but coming off of concussions and all that, honestly, in my opinion, this could be a bold pick right here. I think it's going to be a slow start for Tua Tagovailoa, and I think the Cardinals are going to walk away with the Week 8 victory, evening up their record to 500, 4-4. Moving on to the Jets and Patriots. Honestly, starting now, every week when there's a game that has both teams that really suck in the NFL, I'm going to start calling these games toilet bowls of the week. And this is literally one of them. The Jets, they're a 2-5 team on a 4-game losing streak. As for the Patriots, ever since starting off 1-0, 1-0 is just a fluke at this point. They're 1-6. I didn't really take them seriously anyways. I'm going with the Jets. Although they have Devontae Adams, probably with the first 7-game start that they had, that's probably going to be too little too late. But hey, try to get that win, third win, maybe come back a little bit. I don't know. See what happens in New York. Or technically New Jersey, but it's New York. That's how they pronounce it. Moving on to the Ravens and Browns. They're making that 0-2 start just look like a fluke. No, I'm not saying this bad way. In a good way, because the Ravens, ever since that 0-2 start, they have just been steamrolling everybody. I would say they've been steamrolling, but they have just been win after win after win. Lamar Jackson this past week, had 5 passing TDs. 5 passing TDs. And this is his 84th game, 85th game? He's been in the NFL for not a long time, but for a good amount of time. But what a performance last week by Lamar Jackson. As to the Browns, do we really need to discuss about the Browns? They're almost like the Patriots ever since that 1-0 start. They could be just like the Patriots, where they could easily be a 0-6 team, literally. I'm going with the Ravens. It's going to be a Ravens win. Moving on with the Eagles and Bengals. Both teams are on 2-game winning streaks. I would say winning streaks, but they won back-to-back games. The Bengals, they've done it for the first time this year, improving the record to 3-4. While the Eagles, they've won back-to-back games for the first time this year, improving their record to a 4-2 record. But I do think it is going to be going to the Eagles. Let's make it 3 in a row. So someone has to win 3 in a row. I think the Eagles are going to take 3 in a row. So I've been predicting some away teams. Moving on to the Colts and Texans. The Colts, they are above 500 for the first time this year. So congrats to the Colts. They're 4-3. As for the Texans, they, like I said earlier, in that Packers-Texans game, they did take a gutsy loss. I would say gutsy loss, but they did take a close loss to the Packers. But I do think in week 8 for both teams, I think the Texans is good. They're going to have the rebound week, and they're going to improve to a 6-2 record, making the Colts fall back below, not below 500, but back to 500. You know what I mean. Moving on to the Titans and Lions. The Titans, well, they're 1-5, so what else is new there? As for the Lions, they are now tied with, you could technically say, I guess with tiebreakers, that they're tied for first with the Minnesota Vikings. But, without Aiden Hutchinson, that player, they were able to cap off with the win. So that's good on the Lions. Let's make it 2-0 without Hutchinson. I'm saying Detroit will beat the Titans. I mean, they better beat Detroit. Not Detroit. They better beat Nashville, or Tennessee, whatever. Moving on to the Falcons and Bucks. Now, last time both teams met, it was actually a really close overtime battle. I believe it was like week 6. No, it was week 5 when they last met. And that was actually the first game, I believe, this season that I lost like a Thursday night pick. But, both teams, they're going to square it off again. Both NFC South competitors. I think it's going to go to the Bucks. I think the Bucks, they're going to get their revenge game. And I think the Buccaneers, they're going to get back to first place. Or, they're going to improve their record to 5-3, whatever record it is. Moving on to the Saints and Chargers. The Saints, what else do I need to say? Ever since 2-0, it's been 2-5 since. 0-5 since in the last 5 games. As for the Chargers, they did lose in a close game to the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, the Chargers are literally the better team in this one. So, give me the Chargers for week 8. Moving on to the Bills and Seahawks. The Bills, they have won 2 in a row ever since taking their second loss, improving their record to 5-2. While the Seahawks, I believe they were coming off of last week's bye week, but ever since that 3-game losing streak, they are back to their winning ways, improving their record to 4-3. But I am going to go with the Bills to take it home. Well, they're not going to be at their home, but they will win in week 8. Moving on to the Bears and Commanders, probably one of the better games of the year. Despite the Bears' 4-2 record, they are technically a last place team, but I like to call them a competitive last place team. If they're not that bad, or if they are somewhat, competing, I'll call last place teams that are actually trying to compete, I'll call them competitive last place teams. They're 4-2. They actually have a winning record. They're actually good at the moment. As for the Commanders, they are hanging on to first place. They did, after losing in week 6, they did get back on it in week 7 with the win. And they're 5-2. So they're still doing really good. But I am going to go with the Commanders in week 8, making them go up to a 6-2 record, while the Bears will fall to 4-3. Moving on to the Chiefs and Raiders. I mean, at this point, the Chiefs, they're probably going to win this one. But I will say for the Chiefs, they earlier this afternoon, they did, this morning or whatever time it happened, but early this morning, the Chiefs did sign DeAndre Hopkins. So that could just make the Chiefs even bigger of a threat. They could teach him. The Chiefs could literally just teach him how to get better and all that. And the Chiefs could literally become a threat at this point. I'm going with the Chiefs. Moving on to the Panthers and Broncos. Panthers. 1-6. The Broncos, they were able to easily get a win against the Saints. And probably with this win right here, the Broncos are going to improve to a 5-3 record with the win. Give me the Broncos. What else do I have to say there? Moving on to the Cowboys and Bears. The Cowboys, they are one of the last teams, or the only 2 teams besides the Bears. They're the other team that is coming off of last week's bye week, and I hope they're still recovering after they got steamrolled by the Detroit Lions. As for the 49ers, they did lose to Kansas City, and they've been back and forth. And like I said, they've been back and forth in just not in a good way. I'm going to go with the 49ers, though, to go back up to 400, not 400, to go back to 500 again. Ultimately, the Cowboys going below 500, starting a losing streak for the Cowboys. And then for our Monday night game to top off Week 8, we have the Giants versus Steelers. The Giants, well, they lost, I think. Moving on to the Steelers. The Steelers, they are coming off of a week, I believe this past week, they came off of a win against a Jets team. So, what else is new there? But I am going to go with the Steelers because, again, they're playing weak teams right now. So, give the better team the leverage over here. So, with that, we're going to be doing teams that are improving. 3 teams that are, they're getting better. Well, 3 teams, they're going to go through the floor downwards. So, I'm going to start off on the improving side. The Indianapolis Colts, they're number 3 on my list for teams that are improving. You know, they're not doing too bad right now. Like I said, they're 4-3. They have won 2 in a row, so they did take a little uptick from 2-3 to 4-3. So hey, just when you thought that I thought that division was gonna be a runaway, not so much. The Colts, they're trying to compete because one more slip up by the Texans and basically both teams will be playing against each other, ironically. But one more slip up by the Texans and a win by the Colts, that could tie the Colts for first place. So we'll see what happens in Week 8. Moving on to declining. Honestly, if I really wanted to, I'm gonna flip this list because I'm gonna start with the Jets. I'm just gonna start with the Jets. I mean, yes, they got Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. They used to be teammates, but so far so good. They're 0-1 with one another. So far it's not looking like a plan, and I think that accusation came in a little too late because 2-5, it's gonna be a hard one to get. That's gonna be a hole that they're gonna have to, a big hole they're gonna have to climb out of. Moving on with the improving side of things, I'm going to have the Eagles on this list. The Eagles, like I said, for the first time this year, they did win back-to-back games, going from 500 back all the way up to, the Amazon Echo is going to get ready to talk here in a moment, so just be prepared. The Eagles improved from a 2-2 record from the last 2 weeks, going up to a 4-2 record. So that's actually not that bad by the Eagles. If they can keep doing this, they can compete with this next team that I'm going to talk about on the improving side for maybe a first place opportunity. So keep doing what you're doing, Eagles. Moving on to declining. Declining is just depressing, man. I'm going with the Saints. They are literally the reversed version of how the Ravens are playing right now. You know how the Ravens, like I keep saying, they've started 0-2, and ever since then, it's just been win after win after win? Well, for the Saints, it's been reversed. Ever since they went 2-0, they've been going backwards significantly. It's been loss after loss after loss after loss. They could easily be the Panthers of the division. Honestly, if I really wanted to say this right now, I think it's going to come down between the Falcons and the Buccaneers for that division for the NFC South. So, woohoo. The Saints, they're just not that good. They're not good. But the team that is good in their reversed record of that, but they are 5-2 on a winning side, is the Commanders. They might have lost week 6, but they were able to get back on track, and they were able to improve to a 5-2 record. So, they're like I said, they're hanging on to first place. So that's good. I'm glad that they're actually competing. But a team that I'm not glad that they're competing, like I said, I flipped this list. I had the Browns at number 3. But if I really wanted to go based off a record, they'd be number 1. So they're number 1. That's why I flipped that list. The Browns, they're like the Patriots. They started off the season 1-0, and ever since then, it's been 6 of these. 6 of these L's. Actually, this camera's the other way, so let me phrase that. 6 of these. Oh my goodness. You might as the Browns, they need to just get rid of Deshaun Watson. Come on now. Deshaun Watson's a joke. Sorry if I'm being too harsh, but man, it's the truth. Deshaun Watson is not the guy for the team. And with that, that concludes our Week 8 predictions and the teams that are going upwards, the teams that are going downwards. If you guys want to see more videos like this, then please smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, and comment if you want to see something else. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.